What's good, everybody? Welcome to Ready to Tape. This is your first time showing up. Make sure you hit that sub button, hit the like button on your way through. And today we're going to be dropping a video of Ray's review. And we're going to be talking about what we should be seeing this upcoming week. So without further ado, let's Ready to Tape. Now, y'all already know we play the Chargers Monday Night Football, and it's going to be a tough game because we're 3-0. They're 2-1. The division is looking real tough. We got the Broncos at 3-0, and who would have thought the Chiefs would fall to 1-2? So let's go ahead and jump right into the division and see what we got going on. So first things first, we're going to start at the bottom. And with the Chiefs, you can see they got some issues going on over there. Andy Reid went to the hospital. Thankfully, he got released, which is a good thing. I don't care about football when it comes to people's health. So let's just keep it real right there, all right? But the fact that they're 1-2, man, who would have really thought? Everybody counted us out, had us at the bottom of the food chain, had the Chiefs, of course, at the top. But you look, see how it flip-flop. So let's just keep it moving. Let's stay consistent and keep them out of our way. Now we go ahead and move on to the Chargers, which is 2-1, and they're looking pretty competitive themselves. They already took out the Redskins, and they just took out the Chiefs themselves. That right there is just showing that they're going to be competitive. They're not going to lay over and just fold over because we're 3-0 or anything like that, because we're looking better than last year. No, they're going to go full blown. They're going to play us as well as they can. It's that simple. Justin Herbert is the up-and-coming superstar without a doubt. You cannot deny that. I don't care if you're a Raiders fan or not. You cannot be biased. So we go into this game with our heads up, with our chins held high, and we go in there and punch them right in the mouth. And that's what we got to do. Put our foot on their neck and make sure they do not try and come back like the Dolphins did. We can't have another overtime like we did against the Ravens. So let's make sure when we play the Chargers, let's try to have a sound game. Let's try to have a sound game. The defense really been stepping up. They got a young corner on Asante Samuel that's playing well. Second-year Kenneth Murray Jr., who's doing very well himself. He led them in tackles last year. The thing is, though, is that they lost Derwin James, I believe, and Bosa is having a knee problem or an ankle issue, something to do with his leg. So that right there is something that we also have to look at. Moving on to the Broncos. The Broncos are 3-0. As we know, they really haven't played anybody, but in their defense, which I will be in their defense because I don't want us going into any game underestimating anybody. I'd rather blow somebody out than to go in there underestimating them and then end up having too close of a game than what we should have. And the reason I say this is because the teams they played, they haven't been good. But the teams they played, they weren't close games. They beat the teams, significantly beat them. So it was an indisputed winner in those matches, and it was the Broncos. So when they do actually play a good team, don't think just because they played weak teams, they're going to end up being really bad. No, they beat the weak teams pretty well, okay? The defense is solid. As we already know, they've been solid for some years now. Patrick Surtain is pretty legit. Von Miller's healthy again. They still have Chubb. Their core is looking pretty well in the defensive back as a whole. They have one of the best safeties in Justin Simmons, so you cannot sleep on them. Teddy Bridgewater, we played him last year, and he didn't play us terribly. He played for the Panthers, but he didn't play us terribly. They still put up 30-something points, and I know our defense is different now, but you still have to think about the fact that their offense is different because they have Teddy Bridgewater, and their defense is a lot better than what Panthers was last year. So it's going to be a battle when we do see the Broncos. So I don't want anybody sleeping on them. Now let's go ahead and jump right into Monday Night Football and the things that I'm really going to be looking for. Number one thing I'm looking for is the defense to continue playing the way it has and pressure Justin Herbert. Justin Herbert is mobile. He could throw on the run. He could throw short. He could have a deep pass, and he don't even have to have his feet set. So that's one thing that we definitely have to look for is for our defense to stay consistent, although we did get banged up against the Dolphins. Remember, Trayvon Merritt got banged up. Trayvon Mullen, Casey Hayward, Damon Arnett had to come in because we were getting a little banged up. You seen Jonathan Abrams at the single high because we were getting banged up. And he should not be going to the single high, and we know that. So that right there shows a lot. You seen Diablo playing safety as well, which we brought him in as a linebacker. He ends up playing safety in this game. The first time we get to see him, right? Number 5. You'll see it. Hopefully I can get the film. Hopefully I'll be able to do a film breakdown of that just to show, okay, he was playing safety, because I know a lot of people really didn't catch it. Now, another matchup I'm looking for is the Keenan Allens going up against any of our quarterbacks. And number one corner that I'm looking at is Casey Hayward, which he used to play for the Chargers. He matched up against Mike Williams all the time. Keenan Allen all the time. He knows what Justin Herbert's tendencies, he knows what that team likes to do. So that's one matchup I'm definitely looking for that we could potentially take advantage of. Now, they're in our division. We played them before. Trayvon Mullen is familiar with them. So is many of the players on our teams. And that's the number one matchup right now, is that our defense stays consistent against this offense, because the offense, as we know, is being led by Justin Herbert. Now, you want to flip sides to that. You want to talk about our offense against their defense. In particular, I feel like their defense is kind of young, and they're having some injuries to their main players, which I think will hinder them in the long run. When it comes to our game. But that speaks also for our side. John Gruden said he hopes to see Josh Jacobs back this week at practice. He's our superstar guy. Our run game hasn't been doing anything. They're missing some superstars. We may potentially be missing a superstar once again at our running back spot. Peyton Barber picked up the load last week, but we can't really count on that to be consistent and for our longevity of the season. So that's the one matchup you definitely have to look for. Now, another one is Waller. Waller should go out there and tear them up if Derwin James isn't there. That's just my personal opinion. I seen Derwin James in the offseason clamping up some pretty good tight ends. He was playing very well in coverage against even wide receivers like Keenan Allen, people on his own team. And we already know he's just the stud at safety. Now, him against Waller would be very interesting because we haven't gotten to see it too many times with Derwin James being out. Now, our wide receivers, they're young, but they're coming up. Year 2, you got to look at what Bryan Edwards is willing to do. OT Edwards is really out there doing this thing, and Ruggs is playing phenomenal. He's there consistently throughout the entire game. Last week, we seen him with the toe touches. The week before that, he was putting up over 100 yards in that game. He was flying down the field, getting some deep balls. So that's definitely something we have to exploit when it comes to that Chargers defense. Last week, we started to get back to our balanced offense to where we were running it a little bit more, but also we have to consistently run it. You can't just be one-dimensional in the long run. It's going to hurt Derek Carr. So that's another point most definitely that I want to see be made against the Chargers, that we are still a balanced football team and that our run game isn't completely oblivious to that. We need it, right? So last point, our offensive line. Y'all know I had to get to the offensive line because they haven't been playing too well. Derek Carr's been making them look decent. Josh Jacobs, when he comes back, he'll make them look better because that's what kind of runner he is. But we need the offensive line to really step up and protect Derek Carr, because we can't take any chances with him getting hurt, because we know what that means. We know what that means if they let that up. Now, the snaps is the number one thing that worries me. Those are drive killers. It happened basically every single game this year. It's happened. It happened against the Ravens when it went over Derek Carr's head. We lost points right there. We were nearly down inside their own 20, and then we got backed up, punting it from the 50-yard line with no points. That's crucial. Happened against the Dolphins. Went over Derek Carr's head. It bounced luckily into Derek Carr's direction. We get intentional grounding. Carr tried to throw it away. I'm not mad at him for that whatsoever. It just didn't make it back to the line of scrimmage. It wasn't his fault. He was trying to nullify a mistake, right? And third, he did it against Pittsburgh. We had a botched snap against Pittsburgh as well, which was a fumble. So these mistakes have to stop, man. Those are downs, those are yards, and those are points that we're missing out on. So we definitely have to fix that up. John Simpson has to block better. Leatherwood definitely has to block better. But these guys are young, and I keep saying this and coming to their defense that they're young. But you have to understand, Andre James, first year starting. Same thing with Simpson and Leatherwood. So more than half of our offensive line are young guys in their first year starting in the NFL, going up against Calais Campbell's, going up against Haywards. You see what I'm saying? And then the Dolphins, really no excuse because their D-line isn't known to be the best pass rushing or the most stout defensive line there is. But at the same time, there's still phenomenal players. There's still NFL professional players on that side of the field. In Wilkins, you have Phillips on that side who they just drafted. You have to give them a little time to progress because, you know, with Colton Miller, a lot of people were on Colton Miller. A lot of people were on Colton Miller's head. He was young. Now look, everybody's saying he's so great at playing tackle, which he is. He's above average tackle, which is hard to find. but you guys can't write these people off and then turn around a couple of years later after they developed and say, oh, you know, they're doing great now and you guys are saying this, you know. So let's just settle down when it comes to the offensive line, because we are 3-0. Let's remember that, and see how they progress. Give them at least a quarter of a season under the belt, right? They haven't even played quarter of the season. They haven't even played half of a season to really understand how the game works, to catch up with the NFL speed. So let's go ahead and let them have an opportunity to progress and see what they can do. Now it's time for the 4K giveaway. We hit 4,000 subscribers, everybody. So congratulate everybody joining the team, joining the squad. I really appreciate it. We're on the road to 5K, and on the 5K, we will do another giveaway, as you already know. And a chance to win this one, all you have to do is comment down below your score prediction for Monday Night Football. Leave your social media tag that you add me on. You have to add me, because if I DM you, you're gonna have to be able to get a notification or see the message so it doesn't go into your spam or like archive or something like that. So make sure you add me on Twitter or Instagram, tag me on Twitter or Instagram, share this video, and leave a comment down below with that username, so then I'll be able to DM you, know who you are. You feel me? So that's the only way I'll be able to contact you. Make sure you follow those rules. Leave a comment down below, leave your username, make sure you add me on whichever social media is, and I'll make sure to DM you if you are the winner. So I appreciate y'all stopping by. Appreciate y'all joining the fam. If you're new here, I really appreciate it. We're on the road to 5K, y'all. We really on the road to 5K. I didn't really think it would happen like this fast, transpire this fast, but it did, because of everybody that has joined the family. Raider Nation, is all because y'all. Really appreciate it. Go ahead and get your chance to win the Bryan Edwards signature image, and y'all already know what time it is. Till next time, Raider Tape.